Afternoon, end of April already. April showers are over. Well, they weren't this morning. It hailed, it rained here. The mountains up behind here are covered with snow, which we needed. We needed some more snowpack and rain, so let's bring some more on, but bring it on at night so we don't have to deal with it in the day. Obviously now it's a beautiful day. Sunny, warm. I'm in a t-shirt down here in the underground saw shop. And I just had a little frustration working on my generator. My daughter's going camping this weekend, so she says, "Can I borrow your generator when you take camping?" I said, "Yeah, okay." But of course, I haven't ran it for probably a year and a half maybe. So yeah, of course, typical mechanic. Didn't go and restart it all the time, and to make sure it was running right. And should have had the good old Aspen fuel in it so it didn't go rotten. So I've had it apart 3 times, that carburetor, the fuel pump apart, replaced one fuel line in it. And God darn it, I better start for her and work. And try it one more time here. I just shut it off for a while. Let's see how it goes. Well, hopefully it works for her. She's going camping, and it's going to rain this weekend, so that's why I'm not camping this weekend, but I am going to the go-kart races to be the head official tech guy. So while I'm at it, though, it's been a while since I've done a video. I've had a little bit of crappy stuff in life go on. I had a friend pass away last week that I was just going to go visit that day, and 10 minutes before that, he unfortunately passed. So, yeah, RSP there, Dave. And RIP, I mean, sorry. Yeah, it's all good though. He had some complications and probably wasn't going to be out of the hospital anyways. So yeah, on that note, take care of your life, man. I've just gone for a whole bunch of blood work and tests just because, I just turned 58 and, it was time to go back to the doctor and get all that stuff done. I always preach that to people, but I normally don't get sick. So speaking of that, I have been though. The last few days, I've been terrible. I had a non-productive day yesterday. I woke up at 4 in the morning. It's like a brick was on my head. It's almost like I had COVID again, but I don't know what it was. If I ate something or I'm allergic to something, I never have been, but you never know now, right? Sometimes people lose allergies when they get older, and some gain them. So anyways, yeah, it's been a while since I did a video, a few days, I think. So I want to do a 395. I'm just going to do a 395 chain brake band. And I think maybe I've done a video on these before, but I'm going to show you again. They're a little tricky. You got to be careful, and you need a proper tool to reset it, or you can make a homemade one, and I'll show you that in a second. So let's go over to the bench here and take it apart, and I'll show you how to take it apart and assemble it. So I'll just show it to you here. The band is broken, eh? Okay, so what you want to do is have the side cover preset first, right? Okay, so it's locked on. That takes the tension off the spring, which will help you not lose it when you take it apart, because they can come out real quick and fly up in the air, hit you in the eye, or take your light out above you. So once you got that off, or that released, we're going to take your screw and your bushings out of the handle. A lot of people take too many parts off these, and you don't need to. So take the Allen screw out first with your 4mm Allen wrench, or someone else that may have a different screw in it. You never know. You get used saws, and people have messed around with them. They put different screws in them, but that's the standard screw. Give it a little knock so it kind of pushes the bushing out on that side. Take it out rest of the way now. When you're almost done, give it another knock and get that bushing out of that other side. So there's our screw out now, and the bushing of the other side out. Put those in the little box beside you so you don't lose them. Now take your Allen wrench and punch this bushing out on that side where the screw was. Once that's out, put it in your box. Now take your handle off. And this is the thing that a lot of people do. They take this pin out with this clip and this in here with that spring in there. You never need to take that out unless it's broken, but I don't ever see them break. Or the handle could be broken, but you're going to replace the whole thing anyways. So yeah, that's what people do wrong. So put the handle aside, have a look at it, make sure your little spring thing here is still good shape. That's kind of just your tensioner, so the chain brake handle doesn't flop back and forth. It's got a little spring to it, right? Okay, so leave that in as well. Now take your 4 screws out of your cover here, and that's when the spring is going to be exposed. So what I do is I take the 2 top ones out first. Hope you can see okay. A lot of times I don't show the camera properly. I just talk, and sometimes people don't get that. So yeah, let's get that out. Second screw. 3rd screw. And this is when I take the last screw out and I put my hand over it and just make sure that spring ain't gonna flap and hit me in the face. I've had enough stuff hit me in the face for years. 4th screw out. Now lift the cover up slowly, but maybe you just grab a screwdriver and just push in there, kind of between the spring and it. Just make sure it's not gonna fly out. It's okay. So it's okay. So what I do now is I put a rag over it. Then I'll take the spring out. Okay, pop, there it is. A lot of times, pop, it pops out and flies at you, okay? Because there's no tension on it, that's the way to do it. If you had tension on it, it's almost impossible to get out. These are a super strong spring. Okay, remove the spring. And now we can take our little pin out here for your actuator that moves the chain brake band up and down, okay? Get yourself a little punch, or you get yourself a tuning screwdriver that you sharpened up if you don't have a fine little pin punch. Sometimes they can be a little nasty coming out. Try each side. I'm gonna go to this side now. Okay. There we go. Came right up. Okay, set it aside. Don't lose it. You're gonna need it. Okay, pull that out. There's your broken chain brake band. Take the other little piece out with the dowel that holds it in place. Okay, now it's completely apart. So let's just give it a little clean in the groove where the roll pin goes and the groove where the spring goes. Okay. Now we're going to need that roll pin for the new band here. We'll just put it into the band. These ones are real common to break, and I'll show you why in a minute. Normally they're okay. So we'll get this roll pin in the band, set it aside there. Now we're going to take the rest of the broken band off the actuator arm here. Undo that screw. Set it aside right beside you. Pull this off. Put it in the garbage. Put your new one on. Put your screw back in. I've done a lot of these, man. 288s, 2100s, 394s, 395s, 272s, you name it, man. Every Husky made. Okay, now we can set the band back in. So what I do is just kind of get the one end with the roll pin in. Okay, get it in. Give it a little tap in. Okay, and take your little actuator arm here. Get it to where that pin, where I took that little pin out that holds it. Just set it on there. You can actually put your screwdriver the opposite way so you get it centered, okay? And you take that little pin that I put it in over here so I didn't lose it. Put it in the hole and give her a tap. Go the way I wanted it. We'll just set it down in there. I got her lined up. Okay. That's back in. So your band's in, your actuator's in. Now we're going to put the spring back in. How I do it, just push it up against that post I got. So you move that forward. Then I'm going to take a set of needle nose. I'm going to go to the end of the spring here. I'm going to push it into till it gets into the groove. Once I get it in there, I push down with my thumb. Give it a little tap in there. It's in there. Don't let go of it because it can fly out and hit you. Get your cover right away and still hold it with your thumb. Get the cover over top of it. Keep holding it. Grab one of the screws that you took out of this cover. Let's get one in the back. This is the main one, so it doesn't fly out on you. Come on, get in there. Come on, get in there. Come on, get in there. There we go. Magnetic end screwdrivers are awesome. Holds the bolt, okay? So now you can let go of it. Get your other 3 screws. Set them in. And I'm going to show you why these break. They're not from really using them hard, where guys really shouldn't, but they're only there for your safety. But some guys like to jam brakes on. Bang, 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 bang. They're always smashing it on, and that's not good for it. It's not good for your. It can also sometimes shear a flywheel key. Okay, so that's back on. You can see the chain brake would be on like it would be locked on the clutch. Okay, so now we need to set it. So a couple of ways of doing it. If you don't have the tool, you can take an old screwdriver, a big flat blade, and cut a groove in it. You could cut it right down like this and like that, so it's like a fork, okay? So what you do then is put this in the vise, and you push your actuator arm down here super hard, and it ain't easy to do. You got to have strong hands, and this held into a vise. The other way is the easy way. You got the tool. The tool's got 2 pegs, a small peg here, about a 3 millimeter maybe, and this here is like a 5 millimeter screw. This one's been broken, but I fixed it. So you put this in that little hole where your little spring thing is, and you take this and you pull back on it to set it. Okay? See that? Click, it's set, okay? That's it. That thing's set now, ready to put the handle back on. So yeah, that's a must tool if you're doing a lot of them. If not, do the old fork making unit there. But it's hard though. Now take your handle that you took off and just set it in from the front like this. Kind of push it down. There you go. Put this side bushing in first. The one with the threads. You can put it in either way, but I just put it back in the way they come. Doesn't really matter. Your other bushing in. Your screw for the bushings. And away you go. Tighten that sucker up. And now you have a new operational 394, 395 chain brake. That'll work again. See, that's what that little spring thing does, eh? So it doesn't flop around like a wet noodle. Okay, there you go. That's how you do it. Now, the reason a lot of them break, I'll just show you right now. Let's grab a little crankcase here. Here's the saw with the bad case that I'm going to be changing. But anyways, on your cover, on the back here, where there'll be the rubber flap, and you got this little dowel pin that's built onto into the cover. It's got to rest in this bushing here, this black bushing here in the case. Okay, what that does is it keeps it centered on the saw, so that peg there or doweling's in that bushing, and then this cover can't move around so much. If you don't have that in there, this thing gets like wore in the holes here, and it doesn't line up right. So what happens is it starts wearing right here on the chain brake band, which is why this one was broken. Guaranteed it was. So here's another fix you can do. If you have a one of these covers, which happens to them as well, I'll go get one right now too, actually, and show you that. Yeah, right here. So what happens is your chains come off so many times, guys get lazy and don't tighten them right, or they're got a bad sprocket or something. It breaks that dowel off, right? There's that little dowel right there. So now it can't be centered either. So what you can do is you can drill this out, get it right in the center, and put a split pin in there. So a split pin, and have it sitting up about 1/2 inch, and now it'll fit back in that crankcase bushing and then work better for you. Not really work, well, it works better because you don't have to replace the band again. That's kind of what I'm saying, where if you don't do that, you're just going to go through another band, and you know, that's not good. Safety first, everyone. Okay? Safety first. The 395s, I believe they are going to be discontinued now in Canada. See, now we have the 585 and the 592, but they've been a great saw for us. I have a couple of customers that still run them because they love the big horsepower, because they're in big wood a lot of times. So they just like them. They're the big block of Huskies until, well, they got the 3120, but you don't want to carry one of them suckers around. You don't want those for milling or ripping huge wood with big bars. These will handle up to a 42 inch, no problem. Some guys will even run a 50 if they got to rip something. They'll handle it. You know, it doesn't have the biggest power for the longest bar like the 3120s or 880 or 881, but it does the job. They've been a very good saw through the years. I did a lot of development when the 395 first came out. We had some running problems with the carburetors, and my friend Magnus came over from Sweden, and we did a bunch of testing on the carburetor, changing the butterfly angle, notching the butterfly groove out a little better, so the low speed and intermediate circuitry was coming on better because they were having problems idling. And I finally said to my buddy from Sweden, I said, those emission carbs absolutely suck, eh? You know, those old 394 basic Walbro ones and worked really good, but the Tillotson ones with we call the piss valve, it's like a little emission check valve thing in the low speed and idle circuit. They just stumbled and acted weird. Then finally they did about 3 or 4 changes, and then they came out a lot better. Now the 395 has a Walbro carb on it, similar to the 390, and it's working fine. But they're going to be gone soon, so your choice is yours, man. The original first Tillotsons weren't that great. The later ones were better, and the Walbro ones obviously were good. So yeah, there you go. That's my life in the last few days. It's my dad's birthday tomorrow, May 1st. Happy birthday, Dad. I'll be coming to have a visit with you. And hopefully I'm feeling a bit better. I'm still not 100% today. My head's still groggy. There's something weird going on, man. I don't normally get sick. You know, I used to maybe when I was drinking get hungover, but I don't do that anymore. But anyways, it's a lovely day out there. I got to get on to fixing a few more things here. And I got a new pile of saws from Walker's down there. Look what I got. I got a Blue Man Group saw. Someone sent us this. A Holzma. I don't like doing these. LX Slate. Maybe I told him I'd do it. I probably did. Sometimes I tell people stuff I shouldn't. But whatever. I've had a couple successful ones of these. But I'm going to go over this when I take it apart and show you some things on it that I don't like. And some stuff maybe I do like. I'm not knocking them. It's probably going to cost more to walkerize than it did to buy it. But that's okay. That's what people want. That's what they'll get. Might just go great. So anyways, that's enough rambling. I got to get on to getting on. So keep your saw in the wood, sticking the ash, rubbing the road. Have a great May coming up, and we'll see you probably tomorrow. I'm sure you will. Okay, have a great day. Bye now.